Welcome to Devils in Red 59. My name is Steve and today is Monday. We're here today to talk about your friends and mine, the Glazer family. The Glazers took over Manchester United in 2005. Obviously, the club was debt free at the time prior to them taking it over. And when the Glazers came in, they was allowed to take out a loan against the club, which means that if anything went untoward, the Glazers would be able to walk away and it would all be on the club. Not a very good scenario to say that we were a debt-free club and self-funding, etc. However, when the Glazers came in 2005, they saw the turnover of the club, which I believe was round about the £750 million a year, and it was a debt-free company, and they saw pound signs, profits, and everything that goes with it. Now, apart from the club having a good turnover and being debt-free, the Glazers had a long vision of wanting to build a new ground that could house concerts, boxing matches, pretty much like what Spurs have done. And obviously, that was their long-term ambitions to get it to that level, and not spending no money on Old Trafford throughout the years that they've been owners. Only minor repairs where they've had to put their hands in the pockets. You could see where it was going over 21 years, leaking roofs, rotting metal timbers, etc. It's not good when other clubs come to us and they look at how bad Old Trafford has deteriorated. To say we're supposed to be the number one club and we're up there with Barcelona and Real Madrid, it's not a good fit for anybody. However, the Glazers being Glazers over the 21 years, they have spent money. They've put obviously money into the transfers year in, year out, and it's been substantial at times. But the people they've had on the board running it and managers that they've had in that's been squandering money, paying more than they should do for players, paying big wages, which means if the players didn't work out, we couldn't get rid of them because nobody would take on the wages. So there's a number of factors there that, have always gone against us. However, I was scanning on Facebook yesterday, and I don't believe everything I see on Facebook, but when I listen to what was on there and I give it some thought, it is actually possible, and I'm going to tell you about it now. What it said is that the Glazers were monitoring Tottenham Hotspur, and if Tottenham Hotspur get relegated, the Glazer family are convinced that they could purchase Tottenham Hotspur for around about 2 to 2.5 billion. Now, if you stop and think about that, that would really be to the Glazers' advantage, because the situation they're in at the moment, they've got to try and raise money, they've got to try and raise investors, and then the ground's got to be built. People have spoke round about 2031, 2032, but in my opinion, to raise the money, to get it out the ground and under construction, I think it could be 2033, 2034. So what was seen on Facebook yesterday, these comments saying that the Glazers are monitoring Tottenham Hotspur, I wouldn't put it beyond them, especially with the way they operate, because they will look at Tottenham Hotspur and think, well, they've already got the ground built, so we haven't got to worry about finding money to build it. It's already done. It houses concerts, boxing matches, and other sort of events that the Glazers are looking at, sort of putting into our own new stadium if it goes ahead. NFL football, it's a big, big money spinner to be holding events. But as I said, the Glazers, they're in a position at the moment that they've got to try and find the funding for it, which means putting the club into more debt, debt we can't afford to take on. And realistically, what was said on Facebook makes a lot of sense because if Tottenham do get relegated, they've got a ready-made club, they've got a ready-made ground, and they're ready to hit the ground running with the events that they want to host to bring in massive amount of money. Now, it also said that should that be the case, then the Glazers would look at selling Man United. And again, if you think about it, you know, something like that comes up that's already made, ready to go. Would you trust the Glazers not to sell Man United? Because I wouldn't. Now, with Man United in the current positions that it's in, riddled with debt, the ground at once either sorting out or a new ground being built, the Glazers, I believe, if Tottenham do get relegated, I think there's every possibility that the Glazers will seriously look at purchasing Tottenham Hotspur for all those reasons we've mentioned and sell Manchester United. Now, where does that leave Jim Radcliffe and Ineos? Well, there was something mentioned that if they sell within so many months into 2026, that Jim Radcliffe can't really do a lot about it. They have to sort of achieve a certain amount, a share, I believe, in order just to pay Jim Radcliffe out in Ineos, and obviously they've got their profits from the club as well. But if they do that, the debt is still going to be there because it's against a club. So we've got to look at somebody that was initially interested, like Sheikh Lajim, or whatever his name was, to come in, buy the club in the first place, and pay off the debt. Now, is the Sheikh going to be interested if he knows that Man United are serious about selling the club because they want to buy Tottenham? That's something that we'd have to wait and see. Or is there another purchaser out there that's got sums of money that could come in and buy Manchester United and clear the debt and have money to build the club? Again, we'd have to wait and see. Would the Glazers' asking price come down? Before they was asking in the region of about 6 billion. But again, if an opportunity like that comes up for them to purchase that for 2.5 billion with the ready-made, ready-to-go facilities, would the Glazers be prepared to sell it at a cheaper price? I doubt it very much. I think they would probably entertain bids in the region of 5 to maybe 5.2 billion. And I also believe that they would have to give Sir Jim Radcliffe the opportunity, if anybody put a bid in, for him to match it. And judging by what's going on in Ineos in general, in Formula One and advertising in various things around the world that they've now ceased doing and tried to claw back money, I think Ineos as a company, I don't think they've got the money to buy Manchester United. And if they did have the money to buy Manchester United, would they have the money to pay off the debt? Would they have the money to build the new stadium? I doubt it very, very much. So we're going to be in the hands of a wealthy investor, or not an investor, but a wealthy person or consortium that's got them sums of money that can come in, buy the Glazers out, pay off the debt, and the money to build a new club or new ground. And then, obviously, they need to look at the player situation, players that should have gone in the last 2 or 3 seasons that are still here. You know, are they going to come in and buy them out the contracts and say, "Well, go," or accept bids on some of these players, what they can get for them? Again, we don't know. Until you know that the Glazers are prepared to sell Manchester United 100%, there's nothing anybody can do. So just keep your eyes and ears peeled, because this was posted on Facebook. And as you're probably aware, the same as me, you don't believe everything that you see on Facebook. But sometimes, and I mean sometimes, you do get something posted that's got some mileage in it. And as they say, there's no smoke without fire. So if anything does come of it, you'll be able to say to yourself, I heard about that on Devils in Red 59. We were the first to report it. And as I say, there may well be absolutely nothing in it, but just bear it in mind should it develop into something. Thank you very much for watching my video, and thank you very much for watching my previous videos. We are building a community, and we try and talk about different things other than transfers all the time, because I think possibly you, like me, are getting fed up of we're in for him, we're in for him, we're in for him, and then a week or two later, the fizzling out, the wage demands we think are going to be too much. We think they want to go to Man City. So sometimes it's nice to have something totally different to talk about. So obviously that's why I brought you the video today based on what I saw on Facebook yesterday. So please smash a like, get in the comments, hit the subscribe button, and share the video, because we're trying to build a community and every like is important. So I'd like to thank you all, and I will speak to you again on Wednesday of this week. Thank you very much.